Mel,
Brandon,
great to see you.
good to see you, my friend.
We're like episode 48 skis.
I after the last lambasting I got for not knowing what it was, I'm not.
You can't remember.
Say,
Can't remember a damn thing.
I want to remember.
Mel, you're not that old anymore.
Trying to forget stuff. We got Voodoo Ranger IPA Experimental.
Oh yeah, from our lovely girlfriends.
Oh, them girls are hot.
Duval Liquorland. Go down and see them right next to Subway. I tell you, that jam packed with product in there. I mean, you got to be careful walking through there. Really, you've got bottles stacked so high, it's nearly dangerous.
I've been hitting on that one, and she knows it.
Kenny, you've been hitting on Kenny again.
Yeah.
So Mel, I got to talk about a couple things tonight. Two
like
things.
What?
Well, I want to talk about the college a lot. I want to talk about the candidates, but first I want to talk about the riots that happened on Saturday in Ark City.
Ooh.
Were you there?
Drove by and gave him the stink eye.
So again, so proud of Ark City. So happy to live in a small town. They had all this Facebook live, and there was forward comments of I'm bringing my rifles and I'm bringing protesting and you know what? It was relatively peaceful. Nothing really went wrong, and no broken windows.
I know what BLM stands for, but I don't get it because I'm sitting there on the front page of the newspaper and they protester holding a sign.
Show the audience here.
Protester holding a sign, and it's legible, and the spelling is not too bad. I understand that I will never understand, however, I stand.
As she's sitting on a bench.
She's sitting on a bench, and the whole thing is just like, well, I guess
a little bit of irony there. But.
And she kind of missed the what we call creative writing class. I guess she didn't want to go there.
But no, thankful to live in a little town where we keep our shit real and we don't burn down our own buildings. And thank you. Good job.
I mean, we don't burn down our own buildings. Yet the insanity of burning up your own neighborhood. But
and I know that sounds so desperate to think and so ridiculous to thank people for not burning down our own buildings, Mel. But it's happening all over this damn country. I mean, it's just the way it is.
Beyond me. About every 20 years we seem to go through this.
So, Cali College had their meeting the other night. I didn't go, thank goodness. I guess it was a grueler, which we've talked about this, Mel. Remember the last one you and I sat through? Our asses were asleep and we sat there for all that time. Well, this one lasted until after 10 o'clock p.m.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a lot to cover, but
and one of the things that hurts them is their setup. They're so dead. This COVID spread out bullshit.
I don't think that hurts them. I think they're just...
Oh, they're not close enough to smell each other, and you got to be close to smell. You got to smell the fear.
They even had to have an intermission.
Because they're weak, or because it lasted so long?
I don't know if I hold my bladder for 5 hours. Anyhow.
So the big topic.
They had lots.
The money
they had lots to cover. They're working on budget cuts.
Budget. Numbers, lots and lots of numbers.
Everybody's working on budget cuts, so I don't want to really dive into that. But I want to talk about is the trustee vacancies, because right now, Bob Juden resigned, and then so did Joe Long. So we got 2 current vacancies. They posted those vacancies in the paper. They got a few applicants, and voila, July 13th, they're going to have a forum at 6 o'clock p.m. in the Right Room.
They've got more applicants than I've ever seen before, because there's been many times when people run unopposed because they couldn't get anybody to run. Yeah,
and this isn't truly a run. This is so how the appointment process is going to work is you throw your name in the hat and say, I want to be, I'd be considered to fulfill this appointment throughout until election time rolls around. So these could be potentially a short-term gig until November or whenever there's a. Oh yeah.
They're experimenting.
You like that?
They're experimenting on how far they can push hops.
Yeah.
They pushed it a long way.
It's pretty happy.
Holy cow.
It's good though. I like it.
It's not bad.
So 7 candidates. We got a couple names stick out to me. And Dennis Schertz and Joanne Foster. They've both been on there. Sorry, I'm over them. I guess might be the way to put it.
Yeah, that's in the value added. I mean, so far
they had their shot.
Well, they had the shot, and I can't see that we're a better place for it.
Yep. Rick Rush. Rick's a fine guy.
I like Rick. I like Rick.
I don't know anything about his ability on civic board like this. How you do? I have no idea. Don't know that much about him. Other top contenders, we got Chad Giles, Steve Abrams, Chris Swan, Mike Berganini. Kind of a mixed bag. Mike Berganini has ran for a college seat a number of times. Has always fell just short, not marginally short, but just I think this last time he lost by maybe 15, 20 votes at the most. And Chris Swan, he's do you know him, Mel?
No, I don't know him.
Yeah, Chris, great guy. I worked with him out at GE at one point. Director level guy, super prepared. I think he'd be a good fit. Steve Abrams, state legislator for the region, and probably be very more than capable, qualified.
And he was in Ken's education for years.
Yeah, he was.
Not that that's necessarily a good thing, but
well, the education system's so broke.
Oh my gosh!
But both mentally and financially. But then Chad Giles also, Chad's city commissioner. I served with him.
He's got some knowledge of Robert's rules.
Yeah.
But going through them in a little more detail, what would be your number one pick out of those? Out of the seven, I agree that those four would shine would be the most value added.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it depends what when I look at the board, that's why I'm trying to focus on it. And one other thing to add is, there might be a third open seat within a few months.
Yeah, so there's two right now. It could be a third.
Gary Wilson, who's kind of their only, in my opinion, him and Brian Sanderholm. Yep. They're the only two that are like working blue collar guys.
And they're the only two that actually challenge or question anything. All the rest of them are kind of locked up with what's going on.
Yeah,
very little resistance or very little actually added or even dwelling into the peripherals or the could-bes.
Well, where I'm going with that, Mel, is like, I feel like Gary kind of, whether it's self-anointed or otherwise, but he is the advocate for the industrial tech centers, the industrial programs, the welding, the automotive, the machining, all the different programs that are VOTEC added. Gary is that guy. He's the advocate. He's been on the boards for years. He owns businesses. He's done that. And if he goes off, which he may go off because he's slated to get, he's running against Bob Vegley for county commissioner, and if he gets punted off, if he actually wins the county seat, he's going to have to give up his trustee position, and so Chris Swan really sticks out to me as another advocate for manufacturing. I mean, he's been in aviation most of his career, super well versed on leading people, and he's a great guy.
Didn't Berganini come out of that field also?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah, Berganini also was a GE guy.
Both manufacturing guys, or both. So we got and of these four, they're all businessmen. Every one of them.
Yeah, naturally. Well, Rick Rush is too.
And Rick, that's a good point. Rick Rush is also. Rick Rush absolutely is.
Dennis Schertz is also. To be fair.
Good point.
To be fair.
No, absolutely, you're absolutely correct. Good point.
But
yes, he is.
Dennis has had a shot, and so has Joe Lynn. I'm no offense, but I'd like to see somebody else on there.
Yeah. I look at Berganini because he's attended all these meetings. He really seems to have a grasp.
I think he's gone to every meeting for the last 5 years or something crazy.
He really has a grasp of what's going on. And I've had a couple of dealings with him on other projects, and the guy stays tuned up. The guy stays involved. He stays hooked up.
And I realize, I don't know what the general public knows, Mel, but if you've been to a few of these meetings and you see Berganini in there and he's contesting the sitting board members, they kind of got a rub with him a little bit. I mean, Doc Arnett, you can tell, is visibly irritated sometimes with him, and so is Dennis Riddle, the president of the college, and I really think Mike, he's super articulate in his research. And I say articulate, that's not the right word. convicted. This guy. Well,
he's articulate also.
He is.
Says what he means what he says.
But he would be a research engine for you.
Oh, absolutely.
If you guys you could get over your differences and get together on a few things. I think he's going to invest all the time it takes to do the job.
The part of the rub part that always weighs into it. Your personal perception or personal point of view is something, but the reality of it is that you gotta see more than what you see. It can't be a star chamber. It's got to be a sounding board. You've got to see something else besides what you see. What the obvious maybe staring in your face. You don't see it because you don't want to or hadn't thought of it, and having somebody else with a different point of view, even if there's an axe to grind, they're going to bring something else to the table, something else you need to look at or take into account. So that's why I like Berganini, because at one point, he does rub them the wrong way.
I guess I want to bring up this other thing before going to any other candidates, but Mel, in the last election, general election, Mike Berganini was the next place getter.
Yep.
And
so by default.
He was by default, and I don't know if that should give him any preferential treatment.
He's the people's choice.
He's the people's choice, and for that matter, JoLynn Foster is somewhere in the mix. She fell in behind Mike, but she's also been on the board before too. So she's got a little bit. Mike's never been on, and he was the last people's choice. I really feel like I ought to give Mike a shot at it.
And Mike over JoLynn, I would like to see a different or a new direction, or not keep trying to go the same direction. Just pounding round pegs into square holes because that's what you want just doesn't fly.
Well, and the fact that they're going to be in a real financial twit here in the next coming months and maybe next coming years. Mike Berganini, that is his specialty. He's a finance guy. So, they just lost their finance expert, Joe Long. She was a CPA accountant. Mike is that guy.
Yeah, of course, being a CPA accountant means you can count. It doesn't mean you're accountable.
Well, Mike was like a controller.
Mike was a controller. Comp controller is a lot different than a CPA.
So, I don't know. I think Mike would be a great pick. I'm really favorable for Chris Swan.
I don't know Chris Swan. Elaborate.
Well, he's just, give you an example. So, both of these guys are colleagues of mine, and both very qualified. And they're applying for this new position that came available, and it was a Cincinnati level job, and interestingly enough, there were several applicants, but I knew two of them quite well. And okay, what are you guys going to do to prepare for your interview? And the one guy that I knew, he took in a whole bunch of notes and capitalized, and I outlined the things he had done in his previous roles to try to depict to the interviewers that he was sitting in front of on how well he could do in this new role, and I think he probably did really well. But Chris Swan come in there not only with handouts and examples, but it brought a computer and a PowerPoint and shown what he had done in the past. Just at a whole new level, right? And one guy's sitting there talking about what he's done, and the other guy's showing him what he's done, and that's what I can tell you about Chris Swan.
A good PowerPoint presentation takes some time to develop.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow, no kidding.
So that's just a little bit of, and I don't know if Chris Swan, would care that I said that or not. I don't know. That's old news. That's 5 years ago, but it's just funny to me that's I've got that good of an impression.
Well, if you want to get your point across, that's what you do. I mean, if you're convicted on doing, you will go to like Berganini does. So you got guys that are driven with those two guys that have the conviction to leave no stone unturned. And I appreciate that looking into the backstory versus just what's in your face.
Steve Abrams, Mel, I don't want to discount him because he would be a good candidate. Yeah, I do.
I'm surprised he's running because he's really of a higher stature than
leaving the major leagues to go play in the minors, But I don't know. I mean, I think you'd do well.
I'm sure you'd do well. It's almost like that. It's almost like too good to be true.
Yeah.
Steve. So I think Steve is a shoo-in because of his legacy, and his involvement with Kansas education.
Yeah. Chad Giles, I like Chad. Chad probably just fine. Chad I served with him as a commissioner, He's a spender. Chad likes to spend money.
I think I see that as kind of problematic. And there's examples.
The water plant, starting for number one.
The water plant, yeah.
But
that thought of biting off that much, based on information that was sculpted and cultured to be what you wanted to be, versus the inherent and real knowledge that was there.
Yeah, because Chad's not a dumb guy. I mean, he's very, very intelligent, but he allowed personal relationships and unjustful trusting
yes.
to sway his opinion, and
yes.
and I don't think you'll find that with Mike or Steve or Chris, and I don't know. Chad probably be just fine. What the hell do I know?
I think he would, and possibly his time in office. I'm sure he learned and was tempered on a lot of things that hey, that was a. I wish I would have done that different.
Oh,
we all
say that, but yeah, I don't know. Chad probably just fine. It's gonna be time to pinch some pennies, and he was never one that he always spent the money. So
yeah, well, I think that he, not so much him, spender, but also the trust issue, and he put his trust into people versus verifying, and I'll give a person his head, but I'm watching them at the same time. I'll let them, and as long as I agree with it, I'm not going to interfere.
So Mel, final thoughts. I'm in my duologue here. So our duologue.
What's yours? This is more
Mike Berganini, Chris Swan, Steve Abrams, Chad Giles. I don't care. You take your pick, but those are the four that you guys got to be looking at. And I think the top three are probably better, Mike, Chris, or Steve. Here's the thing. July 13th, 6 o'clock, right room. They're going to have a forum with these candidates or these applicants, however you want to look at it. 6 p.m., right room, July 13th, on a Monday. Here's the thing. Most of you aren't going to go because I know you're too busy during prime time on Monday nights because you're probably watching WWE or something. But you could contact the existing trustees, which is, Harold Doc Arnett, Gary Wilson, Brian Sanderholm, Gwyneth Zimmerman, Nancy Berger, and Ned Graham, and tell them who you prefer out of this list. Okay? So I encourage you to do that, because here's the thing. If I was a sitting commissioner, trustee, whatever you want to call it, and I heard 50 times from constituents or otherwise that said, hey, I'd really like you to appoint Rick Rush, you probably appoint Rick Rush. So I think it makes a difference. Pick up the phone, shoot them guys a Facebook message, tell them who you think you want to see on there. It'll make a difference.
I like that. And logically, that's the way it would be.
Logically, that's the way it works.
However, we know something different.
Please expand.
As much as I hate to say it, as we gandered all these votes and against railing against the unwarranted taxing situation, and we...
You mean our 800 signatures that meant nothing to this same group of trustees?
800 people spoke out and said, this is not what we want, and it made virtually no difference whatsoever. Oh, anyway, it split the vote.
It did split.
It did split the vote, because it started out one way, and everybody voted for it, then it did split the vote. But it made them think, and they're going to be tortured. The guys that are sitting up there, especially Harold, they're going to be tortured for these decisions, because we're not going to let it go.
No, we're not.
I mean, and not that we're vengefully oriented, but damn it, it's our money.
We're going to call you on your record.
Hell yes, we are.
And that's what we're here to do. So anyhow, contact your existing trustees, Gwyneth Zimmerman, Gary Wilson, Harold Arnett, Brian Sanderholm, Ned Graham, I forget, Nancy Cheeseburger. Contact them. Tell them who you want on here. I think you ought to pick Mike Berganini and Chris Swan. That's my top two.
But, and the relativity of this. This is, their budget's like 22
million.
Yeah, $22 million. This is $22 million. Eventually, a couple million here, a couple million there adds up some real money. This is your real money. This is your real tax money. These are real dollars.
These are real dollars. We'll get your tax statements, people.
Yeah,
Damn
please look at next time you're paying your property tax, just go through there.
Just watch this episode, episode 48, Mell More.
Yeah.
We told you so. Get your asses out there and vote.
Or just, and word of mouth, and let the buzz be known.
No, we got to go.
Well, no, wait a minute. We still need to talk about infrastructure, wage disparity, budgeting, budget shortfalls for everybody.
Oh, we got to get. We're at 20 minutes. We got to roll.
Oh, 20 minutes. Oh my God, the magic number.
Mell More,
Please.
signing off.
Hasta la vista.